Good afternoon. Welcome to Owens Pearson's Health and Fitness. Glad to see you all again. This is my second video, so thank you everyone who's subscribed, viewed and liked my previous videos. So last week we talked a little bit about the G.R.O.W model in detail. This week we're going to look at step 1 and goal setting. So hopefully you'll enjoy the video as much as you have the last, and hopefully you learn something new to help you set in some targets going into the summer and obviously the rest of the year. So let's begin. So first of all, let's do a recap of the goal section of the G.R.O.W model. So what are your goals? So if we remember, goals was all about setting your targets, your desired outcomes, looking at whether it's performance or personal. What is the end goal that you want to achieve, and obviously how you were going to achieve that. It also gives us an understanding of potentially ambitions, dreams of the individual that maybe you're coaching or a colleague, as well as your self-performance personal goals. Also helped us clarify what the end goal would look like, and obviously when you put a plan together, what is the desired outcome that you're after following the G.R.O.W model. So that was a bit of a recap we did last week. So what we want to go into next is, when setting goals, always look at some questions you can ask yourself, ask other people that maybe you're coaching, you're working with, or maybe trying to support. So here we go. So first question, what is it that you want to achieve? Or if it was for myself, what is it that I want to achieve? So some examples of that are there things like lose weight? Do you want to maybe lose a couple of pounds, lose a couple of stone? Do you maybe want to gain weight? Do you want to improve your confidence? Do you want to improve your ability to talk to people, attend the gym, go to classes, join a fitness club? Is it things like you want to reduce your waist size, or would you like to increase your waist size? Do you want to gain weight? Do you want to lose weight? Are you part of a competition? Is there a specific weight requirement that you need? Do you want to lift specific weights? Do you want to improve your squat, your deadlift, your bench press? Is there any personal achievements? Are you in a competition that there's a sprint time? Do you want to be number one in a bodybuilding competition? Do you want to get fit for the summer? Is there self-confidence that you want to improve from your visual aspects? Do you want to change your diet? Are you going from eating meat to being a vegetarian? Are you eating too much and you want to reduce your calories? Do you want to reduce the amount your kids eat? Or is there some potentially you found some tolerances like gluten, dairy tolerances, and you now need to change the type of meals that you eat? So obviously, first of all, when setting goals, always decide what is it that you want to achieve. Secondly, what is your aims of the program? Obviously, how are we going to achieve these goals? So a couple examples of this is, how many times a week can you train? Is it 2, 3, 4 times a week? Are you a lucky person that can give 5, 6 days a week? How are you going to train? Do you have a gym available on hand? Do you have a gym in your home? Are you too conscious to go to a gym? So therefore, you've got obviously a space within your house, such as a bedroom, a living room. Is there plans you're going to watch on the TV? Is there an app that you have that you can use that gives you workout videos at home? Is there apps you can use that you're going to use in the gym? Is there diet trackers we can use? Are you going to count your calories? What's the amount of time you're going to be spending exercising? Are you going to do 30, 45-minute HIIT programs? Are you going to do hour and a half weight sessions? Are you going to do heavy weights with low reps? Are you going to do high reps? It's up to you. So obviously, what aim are you going to do? How are you going to achieve it? How are you going to hit these goals? Next, I want to look at, when setting goals, how is success going to look? So when you achieve your goals, how will you know that you've become successful? So what will it look like? So is there a specific weight on the scales? So you got on the scales, you can see you've lost 2 stone. Are you competing and you want to be number 1? Do you and your team want to be in the top 3? Is there potentially increase in weight size, reduction in weight size? Have you become more confident talking to people? When you go out, are you not afraid to speak to strangers? When you eat food, is there smaller food on your plate? Are you consciously now making healthier choices when you're shopping? So it's all about having a look at what you can see. So when setting the goals, always have a think about when you hit the desired target, how will that look to you when you've been successful? The next one is, what would it feel like when you're successful? So when you've achieved that desired outcome that you want, how will it feel? So are you going to be more confident in yourself? Are you going to be more confident to try on new clothes when you're shopping? Buy specific types of material? Are you going to be moving on to slim fitting clothing? When you go to the gym, do you interact with more people that makes you feel more confident? When you're lifting weights, you're more confident in your ability to lift weights. Are you confident in attending classes? Do you feel good when you've been in the class? When you've hit those goals, do you become a more happier person? Have you got a more positive mentality? Are you more positive when you talk to people, when you do activities? If you are someone that doesn't like going to the gym, do you feel less anxious when out in public? Do you feel less anxious when you're doing your programs? Are you more motivated to train? Are you more positive in going to the gym on a daily basis? When maybe you're having a bad day, instead of in the past you're just going, I'm going to sit at home and watch TV, you're actually pushing yourself to go to the gym more. So sometimes feeling is a really, really good one. So I tend to find if you feel more positive, you'll actually tend to work harder, train more, be more conscious in your decision making with healthy eating. You'll speak to more people. You'll grow your group of members when you go to classes. If you're a personal trainer, you find that if you in a positive mindset, you'll get more clients. You'll tend to find that you make better life choices, better food choices. Another one I'd like to come on to is, what would success sound like? So when you're successful, what would that sound like? When you hit your goals, how will that sound? So this is a really, really good one, because sometimes this can be internal and external. So a couple of examples. Are you getting praise from your family and your friends? Are they telling you seem more positive? Are they telling you that you've lost weight? It's always nice when someone tells you that you've lost weight. Are people telling you that you're working harder? You're a more positive person? They feel more motivated when they're around you. If you're part of a team, are you getting more encouragement from your team? Are your team praising you in the efforts that you're putting in? Another big one with success is always think about what you tell yourself. So sometimes self-praise is really, really important. Sometimes when you work hard, it's always great to tell yourself how great you've done. If when you hit your goal, telling yourself how good you've done and how hard you work, keeping that positive mental attitude going. Success, and when you achieve your goals, doesn't always have to come from an external source. You can also be telling yourself how well you've done. And don't be afraid to praise yourself. When people ask us about ourselves, we always talk about the negatives first. Remember, if you've worked hard, you've worked to achieve those targets, and you've worked to achieve those goals, you deserve to celebrate the success. And make sure you do, because I always find if you focus on your personal development and focus on your personal confidence and praise and reward yourself, that's what will keep you going into the future. Okay, so 3 big key areas there. When you're successful, always think about what it would look like, what it would feel like, and what it would sound like. So obviously that way then it gives you something to keep driving towards. Okay, so there's a couple of big questions there for you to ask yourself, and always go through them. Write down as much as you can, and obviously this will help you when you're setting your goals. Okay, so another big area about goal setting is when you're setting these goals, I like to follow a process many people call setting SMART targets. Okay, so I found a little diagram which I found has been really, really useful to help you with setting your goals. Okay, so just to show you, it's called SMART for a reason. The 5 areas is obviously specific, measurable, attainable or achievable, being relevant, and make sure they're timely. Okay, so let's go through them. So when setting goals, they need to make sure they're specific. So they need to be specific to you, no one else. You need to understand that it's you that's involved in improving your fitness, your health and your well-being. Okay, no one else. It's all about you. Okay, what is it that you want to accomplish? Okay, what is it that you want to achieve? Where are you going to achieve it, and how are you going to achieve it? Also understand the reasons why you're doing it. So is there a reason you want to be more confident? Is there a reason you want to get fitter? Is there a reason you want to drive in performance and hit targets? If you're coaching someone, is there a reason why they want to achieve it? Obviously, make sure you look at yourself and be specific. If you're coaching someone else, you can still be specific for them. So find out why they are involved. What is it that they want to accomplish? Where are they going to be putting the hard work in? And what's the reason they are doing it? So obviously make sure your goals are specific to you. Another example is if you say you're going to lift and increase your weights, put a number on it. I'm going to go from 50 kilograms on a bench press to 80 kilograms on a bench press. I'm going to reduce my calories from 3,000 calories a day to 2,500 calories a day. If it's going to be self-confidence, I'm going to speak to 2 strangers in work that I know work for me or work with me, but I've never spoke to them before. I'm going to get to know someone new. If you're going to go running, I'm going to go for run 3 times a day, and it's going to be for 3 miles each time. Make sure you're really specific with those targets. Okay. Next, make sure they're measurable. So when setting targets and goals, make sure you can measure them. I mean, so how often are you going to measure it? How many times will you measure it? How will you know your goal is going to be achieved? For example, you may find you want to lose 3 stone over 3 months. So how could we measure that? Are you going to weigh yourself every week, every 2 weeks? Are you going to take body measurements? Are you going to use a scale? If it's looking to increase weights, how are you going to track it? Are you going to use an app to track your weights you've lifted each week? Are you going to get a little diary and record that? How will you know how much you're going to lift each week? So for example, over a 3-month period, you could say, I'm going to, say for example, use calories. So by the end of next month, I'm going to go from 3,000 calories to 2,700 daily. Then by month 2, I'm going to go from 2,700 calories to 2,600 calories. And then by month 3, I'm going to go from 2,600 calories to 2,500 calories. And if your goal was to get to 2,500 calories on a daily basis, you know by the end of 3 months, you've achieved it. Next one is making sure they're achievable. So we need to make sure the goals you set in are realistic and achievable. So we need to make sure that when you're setting these goals, that it's something that you think is realistic for you. So for example, if I wanted to go from bench pressing 100 kilograms to 400 kilograms by the next month, that's not realistic. If I wanted to run 100 meters in 5 seconds, that's not realistic. Okay, so make sure that the targets you're setting are achievable, and make sure that the measures that you're using and the times you're using are achievable. So are you going to be able to accomplish these targets? Is it going to be too easy, or is it going to be too hard? So sometimes people will set targets that are really, really easy to achieve. Make sure you stretch those targets. Give yourself something that you know you can work towards, but you've got to work hard to achieve. Okay. Next one is R, which is relevant. So these targets have to be relevant to you. You're not setting them for someone else. Is the goal, it's all about yourself. So is the goal worthwhile? Is it going to meet your needs? If you achieve these goals, what impact is it going to have on you? So obviously if it's going to improve your confidence, improve your performance, reduce your body mass index, for example. Is it going to improve your health and well-being? These all have to be relevant to you. Don't go setting goals to achieve something for someone else, because that makes them so much harder to achieve and you won't get the benefits of them. Make sure It's all relevant to you. Then finally, timely. So your objects and targets should have a time limit. So are they going to be done within the next week, the next month, 3 months, 6 months, a year? There's no harm in having stage points. Set a glide path. So I want to be at a certain body weight by next year. I want to be at a certain weight category in the competition by next year. However, there's no harm in setting your goals to be at a certain size, strength or weight by 3 months. Then 6 months is another target, 9 months, and then 12 months. There's no harm in saying I'm going to improve the amount of times I run. So for the next 2 weeks, I'm going to run twice a week for 30 minutes. Then by the end of the month, it's going to be 3 times a week for 20 minutes. Then within 3 months, it's going to be 3 times a week for 60 minutes. Give yourself a time scale. The reason why this is really good is if you have a bad day or a bad week, which we all do, you'll know there's still a time limit. So you won't start pushing things on till the next day, the next week again. Because when that date gets closer and closer, it's going to push you to work harder and harder. Okay. So make sure you set a time scale for your goals and your targets. Okay. So that's a little bit about SMART targets. So we talked a little bit earlier about setting goals and questions to ask yourself about setting your goals. But also when you discuss with yourself or with a colleague or a friend about how you're going to achieve and improve your confidence, your fitness, whatever you want to achieve, make sure when you talk about those questions and those goals, they're SMART. Okay. And obviously you've got a nice little graph here for you to use if you need to make sure your goal setting helps you. Okay. So just to finish off, a couple of things to remember. So first of all, take time to explore your goal or your goals. Okay. This is not something you can have 20 minutes and write down. I always say 20 minutes, half hour, go away, come back maybe a couple of hours later or the next day and ask yourself the same questions. Are you getting the same answers? Is your goal and your targets the same? Are they smart enough? So always make sure to take your time when setting your goals because they're ideally for you and they're to improve you, no one else. Okay. Secondly, aim for a goal which is inspirational. So if you're coaching someone or you're setting them for yourself, make sure they're positive, however challenging. Okay. So if you find that it's a negative environment or a negative atmosphere or it's something you do not want to achieve, you won't achieve it. You won't put the desired effort in to get it. Okay. We've all set targets in the past which maybe have not been positive and haven't challenged us in the right way, been too easy or too hard. But make sure it's inspirational. Make sure you give yourself positive targets, something that you're going to feel better when you achieve. Thirdly, make sure your goal set a stretch target. We don't want them too easy and we don't want them too hard. Okay. So obviously stretch yourself, know that you've got to work for them, but make sure they are still achievable because the harder you work, when you achieve it, it's a fantastic feeling. I said, me at the moment, I'm doing a lot of work with my training and I'm feeling some great gains at the moment. However, I am working myself very hard every day. However, I feel amazing when I get to my targets. And I'm still a distance off, but at each stage, I'm achieving what I want to achieve. So it keeps me going. 4, always be honest, open, motivational and educational. It's a little thing I like to call home. So when you're talking about goals, whether it's for you or someone else, you need to be open and honest about it. Okay. Don't lie to yourself about the goals. And if you think they're realistic and they're achievable, be honest about yourself. Okay. Be honest to yourself. I always find honesty is the best policy. And you've got to be open. If you think that something's not achievable, don't care what anyone else says. Be open with yourself. If it's not achievable, do not do it. Set something that's more achievable and attainable for yourself. Okay. Remember to be motivational to yourself. If you're coaching someone else, motivate them. Be supportive. Keep driving yourself on. And also remember, every goal will be educational. There will be times you may fail to hit that goal in a time period. However, don't take it negatively. It is an educational experience. You're learning more about yourself every day. So that way, if you didn't hit a goal, you can always take a step back and put a goal in the middle. So work towards something a little bit more achievable, and then we'll go for the goal that you set. Failure is not a negative. It's educational. You're learning about yourself and your abilities, where you are and what you need to do to get better. Okay? And then finally, make sure your goals or targets are SMART. As we mentioned earlier, make sure they're specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and they're set in a timely manner. Okay? So make sure you follow that SMART process. Okay? So just to finish off, that's everything for me today on the goal section of the G.R.O.W model. I hope you've learned a lot, and I hope it's going to help you ask some questions about yourself to improve yourself in whatever dreams, targets and aspirations that you have. Okay, so if you like the video, remember to like, share and subscribe. Thank you everyone who's already done that, and thank you for all my colleagues, friends and family for helping me continue to do this blog every week. I'm really enjoying it now, so you can most probably tell my confidence is getting better. Okay, so hopefully I'll see you next weekend, where we're going to talk a little bit about reality. So the reality section of the G.R.O.W model, understanding your own challenges and where you are at the moment, and how understanding this will help you move forward. Okay, so have a fantastic weekend. Hope you enjoy yourselves, and hopefully the weather's good for you, and I'll see you all next week.